666, a number that has been talked about for centuries and which creates anxiety and anxiety. Does it represent the devil, as many say, or enlightenment, as others say? What is its true nature? Is it the dark and disturbing one, or, on the contrary, the mysterious but light-bearing one? If you stay with us until the end of this video, you will find out what the true meaning of the number 666 is, and you will be very surprised. So, be ready to question your certainties and explore a world of symbols and mysteries. In this Zen story, you will immerse yourself in ancient legends and prophecies to ultimately discover whether the number 666 is just a symbol of fear or, paradoxically, a symbol of love and compassion. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. An icy wind lashed the snowy slopes of Mount Fuji, whipping Shinji's face as he walked with sure step towards the temple where he would meet his mentor, the monk Marai. His heart was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, trepidation, awe, and a hint of uneasiness. He had wanted to meet the master for a long time, and the long-awaited moment had finally come. Marai was a legendary monk whose reputation for wisdom and severity was matched only by his reputation as an eccentric hermit. And that day in his lesson, he would talk about a topic as disturbing as it was fascinating: the truth about the number 666. The Temple of Kanken stood majestically on the mountaintop, a fortress of stone and wood that defied the vagaries of time. Inside, the air was thick with incense and silence. Shinji, together with the other disciples, knelt before Marai, who welcomed them with his eyes shining with an intense light, and he began his lesson immediately. Dear disciples, for centuries it has been said that 666 is the number of the devil, a symbol of evil and darkness, and many of you wonder if this is really so. The monk began. A murmur arose among the disciples who anxiously waited to know the opinion of their mentor. Marai, before continuing, bent towards the lit brazier in the center of the room and threw a pinch of incense onto the burning embers. An intoxicating scent wafted through the air. The number 666, he said in a calm voice, is like a gem with 1,000 facets. For some it shines with a sinister light, for others it emanates an angelic light. It all depends on how you look at it. Marai told Shinji and the others fascinating stories related to this number. He spoke of ancient legends and apocalyptic prophecies, of emperors and saints, of heroes and demons. The master's voice was a raging river that captured everyone's attention, transporting them into a world of symbols and mysteries. In the Christian tradition, Marai explained, the number 666 is associated with the devil. It is a symbol of evil and destruction to be feared. But this is only one of his interpretations. In numerology, 666 represents balance, harmony, and completeness. It is the number of family, home, wealth, mental well-being, and emotional balance. The old monk stopped and stared at Shinji with an intense gaze. Among the disciples, this young man was the one who had struck him the most due to the restlessness he could see in his eyes. Then, addressing everyone, he continued, "You see, the number 666 is not intrinsically good or bad. It is a symbol, a container of meanings that can be interpreted in different ways. Its true nature depends on us, on how we choose to see it. Master, this number has always worried me because my parents told me monstrous things." Shinji intervened anxiously. "Do I have to worry?" Marai, looking him in the eyes, began to tell about the prophecy of Nostradamus, the famous astrologer who lived in the 16th century. According to some interpretations, in fact, one of Nostradamus' prophecies refers to the devil and the number 666. Nostradamus predicted that the Antichrist would be born in a year that contained the number 666, Marai said. And some believe this is a sign that the 666 is inherently evil. Others believe it is just a symbol of the power and influence of the Antichrist. But if you continue to listen to me carefully, added the monk, addressing the young disciple Shinji specifically, you will learn not to fear this number and what it represents. Marai also told about the Holy Grail, a mystical object with miraculous properties which, according to some legends, is guarded by an order of Knights Templar, and its number is 666. The Holy Grail is a symbol of purity and perfection, Marai said, and the fact that it is associated with the number 666 suggests that this number can also be seen as a symbol of purity and perfection. Marai, at this point, invited Shinji to meditate on the number 666 to try to understand its deeper meaning. If you want the fear associated with this number to dissolve, he said, you must meditate on all its facets so as to understand its true nature. The young man spent entire days in silence, immersed in contemplation. He observed the number 666 everywhere, in the veins of leaves, in the arrangement of the petals of a flower, in the flight of a flock of birds. One day, while Shinji was meditating, a snowstorm hit Mount Fuji. The wind howled like a hungry wolf and the snow fell in heavy flakes, creating a ghostly landscape. Shinji felt scared and alone. Suddenly, he saw a dim light shining through the fog. He approached and saw a small cave. Inside, there was an old book resting on a rock. The young man opened it and began to read. The pages were full of stories and symbols related to the number 666. The more he read, the more confused he felt. That number seemed to take on an increasingly elusive meaning. The more he learned, the more confusion filled his mind. So Shinji returned to Marai and told him about his experience. The master listened to him patiently, happy to be able to help him. Then, in a serene voice, she said to him, "You were right to look for the meaning of the number, but you cannot find it in a book or a story. The true meaning of 666 is within you. Now, close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Search for the number 666 in your mind. Listen to your intuition and let your soul guide you." Shinji obeyed and immersed himself in deep meditation. He traveled into the depths of his mind, exploring hidden and remote corners. Suddenly, he saw a bright light pulsating at the center of his being. He approached the light and saw that it was the number 666, but it wasn't what he had imagined. It was not a symbol of terror. It was not the direct emanation of the devil and hell. On the contrary, it was a symbol of love, compassion, and well-being. At that point, the young man opened his eyes and felt transformed. He understood that the number 666 was not an external entity, but a part of himself. It was the symbol of his unexpressed potential, his inner strength, and his ability to love. It was something that could help him on his spiritual path of inner and personal growth. The number 666 is not the devil, Shinji told Marai. It's the key to enlightenment. That's what I really feel inside of me. Marai smiled. "You got it," he said. This number is a powerful symbol, but its true meaning depends only on us. If we look at him with fear, we will see him as a demon. If we look at him with love, we will see him as an angel. Shinji, before returning to his country, stopped on the top of Mount Fuji, watching the sun rise on the horizon. The snowstorm had passed, leaving the sky clear and clear, and the snow-capped peaks sparkled like diamonds. And he felt overwhelmed by a wave of gratitude. He was grateful to Master Marai for opening his eyes to the true meaning of the number 666. He was grateful for the snowstorm, which had forced him to face his fears. And he was grateful for life itself, with all its challenges and wonders. It was now clear that number that he had feared so much, that ancient symbol that created dismay and fear that many talked about, was actually a much more complex number than he thought. And 666, in theory, is not just a number, but represents the duality of human nature. It can be seen and used for good or evil. It can be seen as the number of the devil, but also as the number of divine love. The choice of how to see it is only up to us, our heart and our spirit. Because the way we see the world is linked solely to the emotions we have inside. Shinji closed his eyes and took a deep breath of the fresh morning air. In that moment, he felt at peace with himself and with the world. The number 666 no longer scared him. He had decided that for him, it was a symbol of hope, love, and enlightenment.